Hey Scorpio, what's up? I hope that you're all doing well. The first card that we have out for you is Strength. The second card is Page of Wands. This can be a creative endeavor that you're connecting with, or something that you are using your specific particular energy to feed into. Okay, so we have Strength and we have Page of Wands. Then we have Two of Pentacles, which is feeling like it's in between, in the middle of this and what's on the other side of it, which is Eight of Cups and Nine of Wands. Okay, so just looking at this, the immediate impression that I'm getting from this, Strength and Page of Wands is going to be about you following your heart, doing really what you want to be doing. So it can be like what you feel like creatively wants to be birthed through you. It can be something where you get to really express yourself. It can be a path that you feel very intrigued by, something that ultimately your authentic energy will feel connected to, and that you would feel a sense of excitement and inspiration in relation to pursuing that path, project, person, relationship. Okay, so that's on one side of things. When we have Strength, it generally indicates there being a need for you to really tune in and to listen and to follow that. It may indicate as well with Strength that there could be a challenge that would be posed if you were to do that. So it's like, I want to follow my heart here. I'm being called to follow my heart. If I do so, there's something challenging about doing that. Now, what is the challenge? I'm looking at Eight of Cups and I'm looking at Nine of Wands. So what can be the difficult part of doing this is if you're going to go down that path, there may be some stuff that you have to separate from. There may be some stuff that you have to walk away from because it's time for you to be doing this now. And it can be stuff that you don't feel ultimately connected to, or you feel like you could be more connected to something, and needing to navigate and balance that, because there can be some stuff where it may be hard to cut those things off, or it may be difficult for you to get away, but it can be stuff that when you check in with yourself, you're like, yeah, I don't really feel inspired to be doing this. I may feel an obligation, but I don't feel inspired to be doing this. And having that Two of Pentacles feels like balancing these two things that are going on, where it even feels like there's a crossover of sorts. It feels like if you're really going to choose this Page of Wands that you want to be pursuing, this path that you want to be pursuing that's now opening up and becoming available to you at this point, if you're going to do that, it means that you're going to have to check in, you're going to have to tune in and ask yourself, what ultimately is the priority here? Are you prioritizing a path that feels like almost senseless to you, and it's indicating that this is time for you to exit? Or are you going to prioritize your excitement, your passion, your heart? So what are you going to choose? And it feels like it's coming down to a choice. With the Eight of Cups, there can be many reasons why we stay within something that doesn't really feel like our love anymore. And it can be like, let's actually see, before we play a guessing game about this, like why would it be a struggle? Why would you think about staying within the Eight of Cups if that's not really where your heart lies? Why stay in the Eight of Cups? Making a shift could feel stressful. I'm seeing Ten of Wands. You can also feel like there's not total support for you to make a change here. I feel like it can be a time where you have to support yourself. I'm also hearing your dreams as well. Okay, I'm seeing Ten of Wands and I'm seeing the Devil. This can be a heavy experience that's connected with fear ultimately, and you being in a position where you can convince yourself it's not true. You can convince yourself that you have no other choice than to stay within a situation you don't want to be within anymore. When I say you don't want to be within it, I mean like when you connect with how you really feel about this is not something that's in resonance with you anymore. And I feel too with Strength and Page of Wands, this is something that feels like a much more obvious direction for you to go in, where you get to do more of what you want rather than staying in a situation where there's a disconnect there. You don't have to stay within that. Having 10 of Wands and having the Devil can be like all of the worldly things where you're like, well, how would I figure that out? Or maybe this wouldn't work or whatever. That feels like minimizing this dream of yours, this path of yours that you actually want to be going down, that you're being called to that for a reason. And I think that the biggest challenge for you here is to walk away from the things that you know are not your truth anymore. That is the hardest part of this. That's what I'm seeing here. To untether yourself. Because I'm not seeing you staying out of love. It would be staying out of something else. And that can be something that you check in with. Is that really the type of life that you want to be leading here? I'm seeing that you're going to move through this situation. I don't know how it feels like now for you, but I am seeing this is something that you're going to work with and that you're going to be moving through. You can feel also maybe overwhelmed by the prospects of you putting your energy elsewhere and like taking those steps and the steps that it would take to transition over to this Page of Wands. Yeah, I'm seeing Devil go in with Hanged Man, and so I feel like I feel right now like the Devil is symbolizing for you this situation where you can, these reasons that are connected with like, there's no way for me to get out of this, there's no way for me to problem solve, it's impossible. But I feel like because of the Devil and the Hanged Man there, you can be writing off a situation saying it's impossible for me to get out of this even though I don't want to be here. But I'm not seeing that be the case. It's like it's your own fear, this is your own programming, and it can be a time where you can work with this because you don't have to be in this situation anymore. Not at all. But you can have these attachments that are keeping you there. As I said before, it's not coming from a place of love within you. And when you check in, you'll know that. So it can be time where you face some very deep psychological things that you have going on here that would, I'm hearing programming again, just stuff that would influence you to stay in a situation you don't want to be in anymore. And all of the fear that can surround empowering yourself, taking your power back here, which you have the opportunity to do. So you can move on from this period in your life and you can move to something that you'd rather be doing. Being courageous here is going to be a must if this is something that you're going to be doing. So let's talk about strength. Strength is connected with the sun. Strength is connected with your inner authority. Strength is connected with what you're putting your focus on. Strength is connected with you following your heart, with you checking in with where you want to be, what you really want to be doing, and then pursuing that no matter what. Telling yourself, if I'm being called in that direction, it must be for a reason. I trust myself. I trust the feelings that I'm experiencing. I trust where my consciousness wants to go, what I want to be focusing on, what I want to be moving through, what I want to be experiencing. It's not just coming up dangling a carrot. This is really a carrot that you can actually get. It doesn't need to be dangling there. You can actually grab this here. So it's not a tease that this is coming up for you. You really can go in this direction. But having strength there, there's going to be a call to courage here, a call to you trusting yourself, you believing in yourself, your self-confidence here. To recognize too that as much as it may be a challenging circumstance to figure out, it is something that you're capable of figuring out. And it's time to let go of what is no longer in resonance. Otherwise, there can really be this feeling of, it just get like endless rainy days is what it's going to feel like. And not the type that you enjoy. It just feels like knowing that you're waiting for something to blow over. And it's really this shift that needs to happen here. Because you know that you're not happy anymore. Feel too like part of this can feel uncomfortable because you're gonna have to follow your own lead here. You don't have somebody really that you can follow in this instance, in this circumstance. This is just gonna be all you. And if you're not totally in that place with yourself, it can be a real struggle to do this. Okay, let's talk about why else you would possibly stay within a situation that is no longer your Two of Cups, we can say. Why would you stay in a situation that's no longer your pursuit of happiness? Because you can have a hard time accepting that that's actually the truth here. This can be something that you feel upset by, and it can be something that you don't want to come to terms with, and that can also be keeping you there as well. If I'm not accepting what this situation is, I don't have to admit to myself that I don't like this, that I don't prefer this. So that can actually be, it can be like helping you cope with this by not having to make a choice here. Meanwhile, you're choosing to stay within this. But the perspective would be that you're not, because you're like not fully admitting to yourself what it is here. So you can be doing things that run away a little bit from this actual situation, from looking at totally and completely like dead on here. Because yeah, I'm just seeing that if you knew what you know now, you may not have gotten yourself into this situation, but you can't do anything about that now. It is what it is. And so if you can get to a place where you're like, I can process this. I can come to terms with this. The only way out of this is through it. I need to work through it. You really can be shifting lanes to a chapter that you adore, to a chapter that you love, something that you feel very much connected with once again. It just takes this admitting to what's really going on around here, and then you can do something about it. But yeah, there can be a part of you that's like, I don't know if I'm strong enough to really accept this situation as it is, and then all of the implications that would follow. Because if you were really accepting the situation for what it is, I feel like immediately you would be like, well, clearly I'm not meant to be doing this anymore. Clearly I don't want to engage in this anymore. But that resistance to accepting is that barrier there. That's actually the hardest part. That is what's keeping you. What's blocking you from exiting a situation that's no longer in resonance with you is the unwillingness to accept the situation for what it is. That's it. Because if you were to admit that to yourself, you'd see how this does not sit well with you, and you'd say, I can't sit within this situation. I can't stay within this situation. I need to do something. And there could be a part of you that's like, I'm scared to do something here, so I don't even want to admit this to myself. But you're really keeping yourself from what you want on a deeper level by refusing to go through this. I'm hearing shadow. You know what it is. It can just feel intuitively you being aware of this, but it may be something that you're not totally tuned into right now. But the part of you that's like, hey, you're being called over here. It's like that part of you that's calling you up on the phone and saying, hey, I told you go over in this direction. And you kind of dismissing that. That's the part of you that's coming through and getting on the line with you and telling you what to be doing here and where to be moving. I just get this sense of you being so caught up in things that you may not really be hearing that. It's like, I'm seeing you be on the phone, but the volume very low. And so even though you got that phone call and you're getting the message, you can just be like not really listening to it. Like you hear it, but you're not really listening to it. What are your priorities here on a level of feeling, emotionally? What are your priorities? Do you want to prioritize situations that feel like they are nurturing your soul, where you get to be your most loving and compassionate, or are you prioritizing a lack of acceptance? Are you prioritizing fear? Are you prioritizing stagnancy here? Knowing when to walk away. I think too, the part of you that feels like you haven't really been getting what you need, that part of you needs to be here to make this choice and to do this, and can be feeling actually very weak. It's like, it's kind of ironic. It's like, if you're going to make a move, you need energy to do that, but the part of you that is fed is like malnourished right now. This is emotionally. So it can feel extremely difficult for you to even recognize a sense of direction here when this isn't being fed into, meaning like the things that you love, the things that you care about, the things that speak to you, you may be neglecting that side of yourself right now by remaining in something, and can be focusing a lot on something that really lacks substance for you. And so you can be like, I don't even care. I don't even, like, almost like it's not, I feel like something isn't totally occurring to you because of their, like, I feel like you're a little bit asleep here because this part of you is like not being fed, and so it's not fully alive going through this. You are strong enough to go through this change. You are strong enough to go through this transition right now. You can move through this, but move through it. Go in the direction that is calling to you, even though it can be like a very low hum and feel like it's barely speaking to you. It's something. Go in that direction. That's where you're being encouraged to go. You're going to gather strength as you do this. It feels like you're hungry right now, but you could be feeling so emotionally hungry, or like your soul is so hungry that you almost like don't feel hungry anymore, but the scent of something is calling to you, and that is going to be something that holds substance, and then you're going to regain your strength and be like, I'm so glad that I went in this direction, even though it was just a low hum carrying me that way. I heard it and I knew that it had to be calling me for some reason, even though I didn't really know. Go in that direction. That's what you're being encouraged to do. I'm not seeing this feel like a loud pursuit here. It feels like the calling may be very subtle, and that the closer you get, the stronger it's going to become, that is where you're meant to be, because you know that it's not this. I'm seeing Leo, I'm hearing Taurus, I'm seeing Scorpio, and I'm also seeing the moon here. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.